Way down upon the Scrappanong River, far, far away. Yeah, I know, that's a weird way to start a video, but this is it, okay? This is your creek, or canal, I'm sorry, canal, alrighty? I can't see how far it goes back up that way or whatever, but that's towards the lake, but I don't think it connects to the lake, guys. Okay, I think it ends up there somewhere in becoming smaller ditches for all the fields. But I started here specifically for a reason, because this property is so optional. I just want you to remember this area, kind of where remember I was singing, because it's going to make a couple more reference points as we're doing this video. Okay, if you look straight up to here, now remember I was just showing you the river. I say river. It might be 40 foot across there, but the canal, okay, the canal, that piece of property on the map is a little triangle piece that's on that curved road, because there's the road right there where my top of my finger is. Okay, you'll see that when we go out. But what I wanted to show you here is as I'm walking up from the canal towards the road, and I look to the right, this path goes along the canal all the way, I believe, back for the whole length of this property. I didn't walk that far because it's close to 3,000 feet, okay? I just went to a certain area, and that's where I'm going to stop today, but you'll see it. So it follows this canal all the way. But, and in this little corner right here is actually a bog. It's all wet, okay? So that's how it will remain the rest of its life. But what I want to show you here is, can you tell this little pathway coming into here? All right. I mean, had you guys ever thought about having your own boat ramp? Now, why would I say that? I don't know. Doesn't look like it, but, and maybe you can't see it in this video, but that's what I believe this was. Okay. Can you see right here? Somebody has come in here and dug this out. So you could back a vehicle. If you wanted to, put you some loads of rock in here, and you could easily back you a boat down in here. Now, I don't know how deep this canal is, and I think that is part of the fun of buying, is to explore and find out, because when you go this way, there's something down that way, which I'll talk about a little bit later in this video, that is pretty cool. See, this would be my kind of property, all right? But because I know there's some bass in this water, okay? And there's some brim. There's probably some good fishing all up and down this thing. But anyway, I was just noticing that, and that's probably what I think happened. Not only for the fact that they use this to be able to drive down the property if they want to, but I believe that that's exactly what this was at one time, was a small, maybe a John boat kind of a ramp. You know, maybe they didn't back it down in the water, but it gave a good area for them to put their boat in and be able to do what they wanted to and push it out into the canal. I don't know if you just heard that car go by, but, and you see these are, because we're in the lower area, all these little ditches, they're everywhere, but that road is right there, okay? So we're going to walk up here, and they've got a cable across here to keep people from driving back here. I know if I was a teenager and this cable wasn't here, I'd probably been back here, you know, just kind of, you know, at nighttime looking, yeah, you know, animals. So, all right, that said, you saw him. This is that curve, okay? Hopefully you've watched the home video first, and I showed you the curve. Well, this is it, and you can see it. The property here goes a sliver bit around that curve. You see it on the maps and stuff, and maybe that's probably the canal. It might even go right alongside the canal over there. It's been so long since I've been back here, I can't remember. But the home is up here on the right, okay? And we're gonna walk it. And you see right in there is that little bog, okay? And it looks a little low. You can tell it goes down. So I don't see much you could do right here with maybe a home. I don't know. It would take more exploration. But this land kind of goes up as we're walking. It kind of goes up this way, and it's possible that in the future, somebody, maybe if it would perk, could have a little bit of a house right there or something, okay? So that would be something you'd have to explore. There's just so many options here. You see right here, you can tell it's really getting much higher. You know, it's as high as the road over here. So that's an option right there for another piece of property, because there is county water, okay? So you can tap into the county water and you don't have to have your own well. And as you see, we're walking up to the house. Well, I don't know if I want to jump this ditch or not to carry on the rest of the tour, and I think maybe I will. So, because it's dry. See, it's not always wet here, but if we have good rains and stuff, it's going to be, okay? So, which tells you this is all a little bit higher anyway. And, you know, down there where we were at was lower, obviously. So, and we're coming through this side yard, which I had showed you. They had their own little ditch, and they got their own little bridge across the ditch. Obviously purposely done to help drain these areas into the canal, so the water wouldn't just sit here. And we'll walk this. Remember, I was showing, let's see if I can do this. Across the way, the little area there, I said where it was low land and they probably just put a drainage in to come across here. Well, they did, and this is where it comes out. Okay, same here, little pipe. I don't know if you can see it right there, but they just help to drain the water when we have a wet season, which we do sometimes. I'm not gonna lie to you, which means it'll be a little mucky and watery in here, but this is what helps take care of it. And this right here, you see the bins, you go across a little bridge. They spent some time in here. They cleared out a lot more land, they said, and along the very fronts of these properties is easy access. You can see the little path, like you can take four-wheelers easily. You can drive a car down here if you wanted to, but there's some stumps where you can tell they cleared them out, little tiny stumps, okay, or stubs or whatever you want to call them, but still, you know, old lawnmower with some blades coming here and get rid of that. And then same thing here, right along the back, and there's a ditch along this back. That's what I was saying for that same property, you know, if somebody wanted to put a house right here. Okay, and so we're going to walk this. We're basically going back. Remember where we were at, where I said that's a boat ramp? I know saying boat ramp is an extension, or what do you call it, an exaggeration of the imagination, but that's what I think it probably was. Maybe boat ramp was too, not quite the right word. But yep, see where they came in here and cleared out this path and just stacked the logs. Now, they don't feel doty, which means that could be good firewood. Because they only bought this property a couple of years ago. Yeah, they still got good sound to them. So yeah, that could be good firewood. These people have only owned this property for a little over, I think, or it's right at 2 years. And they did a lot of this. It wasn't this way when they bought it. All the grain bins and stuff were something they did, and I don't know what else all they did, but they did do improvements, which we'll see. And I understand this is part of it. And you see that ditch? It's got water in it. And there's the other property. It's just a matter of will it perk, you know? And that's what makes it hard with you guys being so far away, is that if you do an offer and it's, you know, you're going to do your due diligence and they get scared and about will it perk and all that kind of stuff, they a lot of times don't want to accept. Now here is swampy. Remember I was saying cross over there at the little boat ramp? I was saying it's swampy. It's beginning to get swampy right here. I don't know if you can see it right through there, but that's water. And then it's going up, okay? So further back that way, just looking back that way, we've come a little ways. That's a good 300 foot, I would think, at least. Be a nice place for a little home, you know, especially when you got the rest being your property or a part of your property or just a place to hang out. Okay. You see the water becoming more prevalent, and I'm getting ready to come out here. Okay. There we go. Boom. And there's that pathway I was telling you that goes the whole length. The whole length. So we basically did a square, almost. because there's the boat ramp right there in the corner, see? And there's the canal. Not everywhere is it cleared out on this canal like we saw back there. There is another area, and we're going to see it. Easily rideable with a car. Not a problem at all. Four-wheelers are easy, you know. Horse, even donkeys you could ride back here, I believe. It looks like a bald cypress over there. That's a big pine tree right there. Yeah, looks like a bald cypress right there. And here they got an area cleared out. I just saw a fish, or I didn't see the fish, but I saw the ripples of it. I don't know if you can see it. And you see this canal, that's just a culvert because that's another road over there. That's something I need to tell you. This side is Washington County. Across the canal is Terrell County. Okay? Two different counties. So this canal marks the boundary. Alrighty? And you can see past there, that's just another road going across. And obviously they're draining, because this is all farmland, and it was actually swamp many years ago. And that's what they did to drain all this for farmland. Landlocked swamp, pretty much, because if it weren't landlocked, it would go out to the sound. So they dug these canals so it would drain. And you look over here. Now, we're walking this way from where we just came out right there. And, I mean, could this be an option too? Anything could be an option. It's just a matter of it will perk. And how far you have to be away from water sources and stuff like that with a septic system. You stand here, it feels kind of high above this canal. But here you can see it goes down a little bit, but not a lot, you know. And that's not the issue. It's just, your septics are going to be your issue as to what you can and cannot do. But it's pretty wood. It's not huge pines. You know, you might be able to make some money off these pines to, you know, clear out an area. Maybe that would pay for the, I don't know. That's something to investigate. Because she said, or the other real estate agent, that these folks, and I think they did it for that other portion over there where the chain link fence is, they had it locked out and made, she said, a nice little piece of money. Okay, maybe that would cover clearing out an area for a home. I don't know. That would be your option. Okay. But nice property. None of the pine trees are huge, but they still got to be dealt with because they're big enough. They're not just little saplings like we've seen in some of these other properties. I'll spin back around here, and we're back here at the creek. Okay. Canal. I'm sorry for calling it a creek. And just walking down the path. Back this way is nothing but farmland and woods. There might be a house dotted. I don't even know if there's a road back in here. As a matter of fact, I was going to check to see, and I don't think there is. I don't think there's any bridges crossing over this canal going that way. And what I was going to say about this canal is it does go all the way to the Scruppanong River. Now, I was singing kind of, and I add the river name, but Scruppanong River is back that way. But this goes to the Scruppanong River, and then the Scruppanong River goes to the Albemarle Sound. Okay, so is it possible you could put a boat in here and go all the way to the Sound if you wanted to? Maybe. I don't know. But see, to me, that would be the fun part of exploring. Because the majority of what's going to be on this canal is going to be farmland and woods, you know, just forest. And that would be part of the exploring, you know. Small little John boat with a, you see here we can get lower, I can feel it, and the water's getting higher up to the bank. I know you can't see it, or maybe not, but anyway, I think this goes all the way out, and it'll be nothing but farmlands and woods on each side. And we're opened up back here on this corner, which I don't know what the heck that is floating out there. I don't know what that is. It looks like maybe a trash bag. Isn't that sad? It looks so big though, so I'm unsure. Anyway, so this area is open, and it just continues on for wherever 3,000 feet is that way, okay? If you guys put an offer in on this and it was accepted and you came here, we would actually get the keys to unlock the cables and we would ride it and look at everything, okay? Otherwise, this is darker water, which is good. Brown water means you're getting too much runoff from the fields, and darker water means it's natural, it's much better. This has a slight brownish tint, but this is good water. So far as what I think is, okay, for fishing and stuff like that. You'll catch fish in brown water too, but I really think there's something here. But, and at the end, I don't know if this would stay, but this would give you an option. Here is another grain bin, you know. It's possible you could incorporate that. There's one more out here. We would ask about it, okay? Anyway, so we get our bearings as to where we're at. Remember, all the way at the end is where the supposed boat ramp, then the little cutout, which we just walked into. And we followed the canal down to here, and the property goes much further. The grain bin, and then here. We're going to make a left. We're going back almost to where we were going, but they've cut this out again. And I think maybe for a reason, it does get real low back in here. Okay? And the further you go back that way, the closer you're getting towards the Scruppanong River. But I'm not saying all this land is swamp, but right here it is. And, you know, you're beginning to get to a point where getting any power back somewhere would cost you money, you know, to really get it back there a ways. And so this is a good area. This land here looks pretty high, which I think would still be very feasible to turn that into a driveway if you wanted a driveway there. Boy, I'd like to keep it natural, but it would be your property. You do what you want. You know, you could easily get power into here if you wanted. I don't know about getting the water back into here. It might cost. You'd have to find out about it. But they've opened this up, and this brings us on back, which is not far from the other piece that I was thinking about doing a separate video on, but I've been able to keep my mouth running long enough to talk about this property. I think I'll try to keep it on this video to just be easier for editing and getting it uploaded. Again, it's still a little bit low over there, and you can tell it gets even lower further back. It's just, you know, when you live somewhere, you know, and I can just look at the trees back in that area and tell it's more water back in there, more swampy. And we're coming around, and these trees look like, see, can you tell it? There's a row there. There's a row there. There's a row there. You know why? And there's a row there. It was planted with pine trees for harvesting. And these little pine trees might be perfect for pulp or to be left, but they're all in a row. Okay? And all these other little ones are the hardwood trees and stuff that just can't seem to grow fast enough under the pine tree canopy. So it looks bushy. But this is a young forest right here, as opposed to here. There's no pine trees in there. See, that's all hardwood forest. Okay? Might be a pine tree somewhere. And that's a beautiful, I call it poplar tree. Probably a beech tree. Is it a beech tree? Looks to be a beech tree. It's hard to tell. My eyes aren't focusing. But there's rows of pines, okay? Rows of pines. So you could. I mean, there's just so many options here, you know? Anyway, we're getting to the corner, but you'll see what I'm saying, because maybe you'll recognize maybe something that was in the MLS. This tree is falling over. That's no biggie. But you can tell this is like a windrow right here. We call them a windrow. I'll show you in a minute. See how it's going all along this back fence? It's where they cleared out this property. This is where I think they had logged out, and they pushed some of it back, and that's called a windrow. It's just a tall row of where all the branches and trees were pushed up. In my property, when we did it 40, 50 years ago, we burned it all off until it became ground again. It took us a long time. But see, they cleared this off, and you can easily ride a car if you had to, or even a ATV easily. But this is that income producing property. That's just another option. The people living here did get, you know, a permit for that. And, you know, maybe, I don't know what the options are for you. I mean, I have a couple of ideas, but you guys would have your own. But as you can see, I am walking along this piece, which could be more lots. And that's why I was saying I would leave that natural over there, that driveway, and I'll explain why I would do that after I go through some of these other things for you. Because now I'm going from property mode, like building homes and stuff, to sort of business and building homes, because of the options that you have here. Now you can see where we're back at, right? We're at the corner property where there's the house, and there's a little pathway there where we started pretty much on this main property. Coming through, well, don't know if you can see it. Probably not. Deer tracks. But so yes, they left this. This was going to be their income producing property. And that's what all this chain link is about. And this net here was for privacy when people were coming here for the family home, because this was going to be a storage lot. Whatever you wanted to store here, you could put here. There's an entry gate here, which lets you in from the owner property. And I got to lock this back. Try to lock it back the way they had it, because that's what I would want if it were my property and I was trying to sell it. Okay, there we go. All right, and you can see there's two sets of driveways that curve around, okay? And I had my own thoughts, and there's something else in here. Now, you read in the MLS, or maybe you did or didn't, that there's 2 RV hookups. Well, we showed you the first one up by the house. Well, this is the second one right here, back in the utility lot. This is the 50 amp service. There's the water for the RV. This is a tank for the septic. Okay, now this doesn't look like it's hooked up to any drain field. I could be wrong. I'll have to ask, but because it's got a top for pumping out once it gets full. But just to say, this is where the second RV hookup is. And you see, my thoughts were almost this. I hope that's a dog and not a, yeah, that's a dog. Anyway, my thoughts were this. That could be a very private driveway because the driveway has a coded entry. You can't get in, and I'll show you that here in a minute, without a code. And then you get back here, you know, I don't know how many pieces of property you guys are going to do, but this could be a driveway to one property. That could be a driveway to another property, and then the creek would be behind, okay? Otherwise, you don't do that, and you continue on with what they're doing and try to make money from this. They did have permits for this. They had to get a license to be able to display a sign. That's going to be your guys' thing, okay? Mine is property and real estate. So far as getting hooked up with the businesses and what you have to do, you just have to go talk to the town of Plymouth. Literally tell them what your plans are. Same thing for any subdividing. As I mentioned, any subdivision has to be done. To build a home, you have to subdivide it. I mean, you keep it in your name if you wanted to, but it has to be subdivided out, okay? So, but you see what I'm saying about the driveway? Could be a driveway. Same thing over here. Looks like they got a couple of things already stored here, you know. So I don't know all the particulars. I do know they have video cameras out here. Everything I think out here is run. Even the lights are all solar, okay? And there is a fence all the way around. It just hasn't been capped off with the final rail is what it looks like. And it looks like here's all the stuff they were doing. And I guess that's something to inquire about. Will this stuff stay? You know, if you needed it and you wanted it. I don't know about the equipment, but I was talking mainly, see there's more chain link here and and stuff like that. I just, you know, I think that's questions to ask. And let me go back out here, but see, this is the driveway coming up. Now over there is not your property, so this fence is probably defining it. I think because they came in here and cleared it out, the ground is actually lower here than up there where they probably bulldozed it out and leveled it out after they harvested all the trees. And that's why you got that windrow back there. That's what I was talking about. It's just what happens when you clear out. But see, you'll start at that height, but you go developing, clearing out of space, you get lower. So that's just part of the process. Now this driveway does come up on the very far end of the property, which I kind of showed you over there about that. And I saw it on a map, and they didn't say it on the MLS, and I didn't ask. But I don't think it's a real issue, but it's a right by the survivors. Is that the right word? I don't know. Okay, now here's a big gate to the side yard, to the owner property, which would let you open up and drive a big vehicle in there if you wanted to from your own property. Let me lock it back. Okay, just simple, nothing. See, here's the solar activated gates, which will open automatically. And I'm not going to go over there, but you can see the keypad there. So they come in and they key in their code. The gate opens, they go in, do what they need to do. And then, you know, the gate comes out. Well, what I was talking about is, see this little wooded area right in the middle of the yard? Well, it's not in the middle of the yard, it's near the corner. This is a cemetery, okay? Which means survivors or whoever will have lifetime access. Now, obviously, nobody has been in here in a long time to clear this up, but who knows? Might be some of my ancestors in here. I see a little headstone right there. Don't know if I see any others, but point is that's what this is. So they would have to have access. Doesn't mean right of way. Just mean, and they can't. I don't believe that anybody can just come on your property. You have to be notified, and then you just say yes, come. But you can't stop them. Alrighty. So the previous owners did have a business permit for this and business license. They dealt with the county. This is what the other agent was telling me. And they had all that done. And like I said, the reason why they're leaving is because of the mother-in-law's health status has changed to a point where they needed to just make a change for everybody involved. And I forget, this was called something storage, but this is where they hung their sign. To be able to hang their sign, they had to get a permit. Okay, so finally, I think that has finished the tour of this property. Okay, just to give you another view of it. Alrighty, so and that was almost a 30-minute tour just on the property. I hope this has answered some of your questions, and it may actually start some more questions. Either way, I got to get this all converted over and uploaded. And I will talk to you guys a little bit later from 1825 Sproul Ridge Road in the big city of Creswell, North Carolina. Talk to y'all later. Bye. I'm doing a sneak video. This is your closest little supermarket, and it's about 5 minutes away in beautiful downtown Creswell. Just to give you an idea, there's your wonderful wine selection and drinks and stuff. And let's see if I can find me a drink here somewhere. That's what I came in here for. Let's see what I got here. Let me do this little video quick, and then we'll see if we can get a snack or something. And the checkout counter's up there. Anyway, just thought you might want to get a good look-see.